few days ago I posted a video on Andrew Cuomo using a speculative birth time to give him a Leo Ascendant, since I noticed a number of astrologers thought he might be Leo rising. Since then, I've been reminded of a separate line of speculation from other astrologers who have attempted to rectify his chart, and this other guess would give him a birth time 12 or so hours earlier. So instead of 8:30 p.m., we would look at 8:35 a.m. and 8:50 a.m., the alternative proposed times, both corresponding to Capricorn rising. I will admit that this ascendant could fit him just as well as Leo rising on the basis of demeanor, because Saturn is in Sagittarius next to the Sun, so that the fire element component will still correlate with his confident expression, and the Capricorn and Saturn align with that control facade he often wears. And if you think about it, Leo or Capricorn both take you back through their rulers to his Sun-Saturn conjunction. With Leo rising, you explain the 2020 triple Capricorn transiting conjunction through the sixth sign as the fame he gained last year for dealing with it in a way the general public approved of. With Capricorn rising, those planets go through his first house, which still links him to dealing with health issues because natal Jupiter rules the 12th, a house of health, and Saturn comes from the 12th, same reason. And even Pluto, being originally in Virgo, again reinforces the health topic. And it's certainly true that this three-planet transit of his first house would put him in the kind of enhanced position he found himself in, and with Jupiter being in the mix, he would likely look quite good in the process. Now notice the trouble started right around when Jupiter and Saturn were changing from Capricorn to Aquarius in late 2020, early 2021. First, he was implicated in the cover-up of correct COVID death counts in nursing homes, and then several women accused him of harassment, and multiple stories of abusive management surfaced at the same time. A Sun-Saturn conjunction in the 12th house makes him vulnerable to nursing home issues, since that is exactly the house where you would put that, and the Sun would rule the 8th of death, and the death theme would be re-emphasized by transiting Pluto, the Lord of the Underworld, squaring Jupiter, which would rule nursing homes in this morning chart. Now realize that morning or evening, using either time, Pluto will still be squaring that Jupiter the rest of 2021, and to be honest, since in October of 2022 it makes a station at 26 degrees Capricorn, we're looking at 2 solid years of Pluto pressure on his Jupiter, which, as in the other chart, still rules his Sun, and therefore is very important, but now in the morning chart becomes a tenant of his career house, and suddenly the Pluto square looks quite ominous, since it threatens to destroy his career and reputation. And the morning natal Pluto is going to be more dangerous because the square to the moon is tighter. What about the harassment allegations? Well, I would say the morning chart is actually quite a bit worse, because since the 12th, aside from associating to hospital and nursing homes, is also the place where hidden sex affairs and the like is placed, we not only now have Pluto hitting on the 12th house ruler Jupiter, but the consequences go straight to his career because of where natal Jupiter lives, and transiting Eris is also opposing Jupiter. And this one is super slow and will not let go for years and years. This Eris transit is of course still there in the evening chart, but a morning Jupiter is considerably more important and vulnerable due to its connections to the 10th of career and the 12th of the thorny issues in question. Also, Eris in the morning chart is more likely to hurt him than in the evening chart because 8:30 a.m. and especially 8:50 a.m. put it in square to his ascendant, promising that if he has mistreated women along the way, Eris is more likely to seek revenge later, and later is potentially right around now or the period of time he is now approximately in, when Eris and Pluto both challenge Jupiter and effectively could transform/terminate his career. Natal Pluto in a tight square to the moon also looks suspiciously accurate when assessing why his female aides are turning on him, since the moon is in the 6th house of those who work for you, and since it's the moon, they are female, and the moon rules the 7th of relationships. So all of this fits a little bit too well, but not in a good way for Andrew Cuomo. Bottom line, to those who were hoping a morning chart might save this guy, given that despite all of his recently emerging problems, he has been a popular and effective governor for many, a morning birth with Capricorn rising, I would say, is more and not less likely to be hugely problematic for him. And having looked at both possibilities, I think if he's Capricorn rising, he's in much bigger trouble. That said, this topic highlights just how important it is to have verified birth times. And so, if you like Andrew Cuomo and you pray he will survive this mess, you can always hope that neither of these birth times is correct, and so perhaps he'll be able to escape the ending of his political career.